What's going on, guys? It's Joe Metla with Next Level Auto Detail, and today we are polishing this Lexus. However, I wouldn't necessarily call this paint correction, more paint enhancement. The customer didn't think it was really worth it to do a two-step or one-step paint correction. It's his wife's daily driver, so we're just enhancing the paint, and then we're going to apply a ceramic coating. So that's not a problem. Doing a paint enhancement is very rewarding. We're getting a really decent amount of defect removal on this particular paint. Clear coats and paint is going to vary. Your results will always vary on every paint system. But today we're going to talk about a very important subject, and that's paint enhancement. Paint enhancement is, again, just that. You're enhancing the paint. It's not necessarily paint correction. It's not as thorough. So I'm going to have in total under 2 hours of polishing this whole vehicle, and we're still getting excellent results. So the pad we're using is the Blue HDO foam pad. So I'm taking full advantage of what this pad has to offer with my paint enhancement packages. So number one, it's very resilient. You're going to be able to apply heavy pressure without the pad buckling down. So that's going to help with cut. And then we're going to lighten up on pressure, and we're going to jewel out. So that's going to help on finish. So we're going to be using HD polish and the Blue HDO pad in G21. Another thing, what's good about this pad and why I like it so much is that it stays cool. They don't run hot, so again, it withstands its integrity. It doesn't get soft where you lose cutting and finishing ability. So I'll swap between like 2 or 3 pads depending on the size of the vehicle I'm doing and the compensation and the overall expected result. So I'm going to apply 4 pea-sized drops, and remember, this is paint enhancement. We're not going to be working a 2x2 section. We're going to be working larger panels because we're not getting compensated for a lot of time here. So I'm going to be working fast arm speed, and I'm only going to do a few passes, but even then, we're still going to get a really good amount of correction and make our job look good. I'm applying heavy pressure. Fast arm speed. Notice how the pad isn't buckling. I'm letting up off pressure. Now I'm just jeweling the paint. No pressure at all. So my first passes, I had heavy pressure. And again, sometimes I'll work a bigger section, but I already did half of this. And we got a lot of defect removal with that simple process. But again, that's because we're taking full advantage of what this pad has to offer and understanding what it's capable of. Another good thing to pair this with, but again, this is paint enhancement. We're not too worried about defect removal, even though we're getting a lot of defect removal. But again, really what's all in the details in paint correction is all edge work, and obviously the edge work isn't going to be as good as a paint correction package, but nonetheless, it looks great, especially with that simple process. So like I was talking about earlier, before I got off subject, is if you pair this with a diminishing abrasive compound, you will still get these results, because if actually better, you'll be able to remove more defects, because once you engage that abrasive with heavy pressure, and once it breaks down into a fine polish, you ease up on pressure, and you could get it to finish very, very similar to this, especially if you're working on a harder clear coat. So that's why I'm such a big fan of the Blue HDO pads. I gotta finish this thing, I gotta get this thing coated, so I'll see you guys next time.